What's going on, family? This is the Chip Off the Old Block podcast. I'm your host, CJ Matthews, here with the notorious
Dr. CJ Matthews the first. What's up, y'all?
Hey, Dad, how you feeling today?
Feeling pretty good, Yeah, I think I am. Wait a minute, let me check. I'm doing pretty good.
That's a pretty nice looking hoodie you got on.
Yeah, well, I forgot to give a shout out to our sponsor, Kingdom Wear. I'm Kingdom, so.
Yeah, you got you dripping. You got the drip on.
Right, I forgot what that mean though. You got to prep me every episode. Prep me every time. My grandkids taught me that when I had the outfit for Christmas, and they taught me about that. I said it in the sermon, but I'm not gonna remember.
Yeah. But man, it's a good day, blessed day.
Yeah, we celebrated. You had a birthday this week.
Yeah, man, it's always a blessing. 32 years, the big 3-2. So,
yeah, you think that's big? Yeah, you think that's big? Hang around a while. You'll see what's big.
That's
brother.
that's the plan.
You'll see what's big. I'm telling you, you got some big stuff coming.
But yeah, man, my birthday was a blessing. I was able to go out to dinner. Found a nice little spot. It was it was considering the fact that we're in a pandemic and everything. Like, it was perfect because it's like you in the cut, and it ain't. It was perfect. The food was really good. I was trying to get a tomahawk steak. I started the year off with this whole little cleanse.
Absolutely.
That's been going good. So I'm like, all right, man, I'm gonna break fast and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get me the tomahawk. They didn't have it. They didn't have it. So
now they didn't have it. They don't serve it. They didn't know what it is.
No. They
just out of it.
No. They know what it is and they serve it. I guess they come in from Chicago, so they was just gonna be out until like Friday or Saturday. I thought about going back, but then I was like, no, I ain't gonna overdo it. So, since I couldn't get the tomahawk, I had to settle for the usual, the bone-in ribeye. It was pretty good.
32 ounce.
Shoot, I don't remember what the size of it, but it was really good. They cooked
32 ounce. That's big boys. Big boys. 32 ounce.
Yeah. So
Mom used to say, eating a whole roast.
it was good. Good night. All my family, friends show a lot of love, and it's always a blessing, just for people to show love, to pour out love to you. That's one thing, that I can just take away. And I just know, just the people who just, do little things to bless you and stuff like that. You can't overlook those kind of things. I'm just thankful. I can't really speak for anybody else, but, in the world, the way I hear people talk is, that's an uncommon thing. So I know that I'm blessed just to be surrounded, to have such a cast of people that just love and support me. It's like, wow, I guess I'm so used to it, I could easily overlook it, but because of, I guess, the way that God made me, I can't overlook it, and I'm humbled by it, and I'm just thankful and grateful. Got a few good gifts, or some great gifts, actually. So yeah, man, I don't know, just feeling blessed. Yeah.
Yeah, birthdays are really nice. I enjoy mine. And I haven't gotten back on my meal plan yet, so I've been doing pretty good on the off meal plan. The off meal plan has been working very well. Had a few sweet potato pies.
Yeah.
And it's working real good. I don't know what my waistline is going to look like in a few more weeks if we don't hurry up and get to the fast, but I'm thankful too. Yeah, thankful. A lot going on. Wow. It's amazing to wake up in the morning and, I didn't hit no tweets.
We never even really got into that, but yesterday was like big day yesterday. Huge day. Huge. But no, the inauguration.
I like the commentators are saying, seeing and nothing happened. Well, yeah, you put 25,000 armed troops up there. You think something gonna happen?
Yeah, but we, or at least me and my generation, we've seen so many movies. You're conditioned to just like, when's it coming? When's it coming? And then obviously nothing happened.
It's from my generation. You put 25,000 dudes with guns, they not showing up unless they got 25,000 or more dudes with guns. Nah.
Yeah, so that was a good thing, because everybody was saying, there's gonna be demonstrations in all the capitals, and it was a lot of different
25,000 dudes with
things.
guns.
Yeah, at one place
That have something to prove.
I get it, but when you
They
consider
prove that they'll shoot
when you
too.
consider 70 million people, let's just take 1% of that and divide that by 50.
Oh yeah, and
that's an army.
It certainly was not 70 million people caught up in that. We know that.
No, 1%.
Yeah, I've got good friends who are Republicans, and I don't know now that we done won again. They go and hiding every so often. But I just and I guess when you feel entitled to something, certain people do. Maybe they were entitled to the presidency, and that's why they believed the lie or believed that they could overthrow and were praying to God and those kind of things. To me, that's when it became a circus, when believers were praying to overthrow the election, understanding that God honors the government that we have. He's not going to change our government until Jesus comes back. Then it's hallelujah for that new government. But, as long as we as Americans agree in this democratic republic and all the things that goes with it, that's what he's going to allow to exist.
But yeah, I tuned in. I tuned in to the inauguration yesterday. And what the guy say? I forget who the guy was, but he says, I guess he was quoting Reagan. I don't know if I want to quote Reagan, but.
Yeah, he's all right to quote. He was a famous movie star.
Yeah, okay. Well, other people was famous in TV, movies, and then, Anyway, he was saying it's what did he say? It's a miracle, and it's shoot.
Yeah, it's a miracle and it's a miracle.
No, but it's regular or it's common.
Right.
Like it happens every 4 years consistently. That's like what makes it so like common. Right. But then it's a miracle because it happens every single 4 years. So
absolutely.
I was like, and that's how I look at it. I thought that he like beyond like the fact of that, just in life in general, I just consider certain things like that. Like you can see just how powerful something is. Like that's easy to overlook, I guess.
Absolutely.
I could appreciate that.
Well, again, with all the vitriol that currently exists,
that's part of the new segment.
Yeah.
Vitriol.
Oh, okay.
If we started a new segment whenever the Notorious uses one of these words that's above our level, we gotta write it down so I can look it up.
Just the hatred, the partisanship, divided nation, which we are. We blame our elected officials, but we are divided. I think the divide is not equal to the proportions that some would like. We're not a conservative nation. We're expanding constantly. You can shut down the borders, but it's eventually we're becoming a different country in a sense that more people who think differently are a part of our country, and it's not about race, gender. It's just more people.
Yeah,
and they think very differently. And those who were born in certain generations or under certain ideologies, I think Amanda Gorman's poem said it so well, and she said she saw a portion of that in the tweet, which is why it came into her poem, and it's that they don't want to share America. We've had to share. I want to be kind today because it's like we're in a happy mood with a new president and everything, but we've always had to share.
Yeah.
And put up with other people's scuba line.
Right.
So I think other people don't like it when they have to do it.
Yeah, it's like a if you're only child, all the toys is yours. Then you got to go to school or preschool, and you got to share the toys. It's like whoa.
Or if you have siblings and you convince them you're an only child. Hey, day and
Yeah. But I mean, yeah. So I mean, I don't know. New day, new opportunities, new possibilities. Um, he's sort of hit the ground running. Um, yeah, I haven't read all of it, but there's been a litany, if you will, of executive orders and things. So I don't know how that compares, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we change the name of the president every 4 to 8 years.
Right.
But we don't change the ignorance of the politics.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, so.
You know my stance on that.
So, I mean, do what you can, bro. 2 years, y'all be fighting again. Who knows who's going to be in power. So you better do what you can. All these cries for unity and cries for healing. You can't have no healing in no environment like we living in this country. There's no way you can have healing. And the hypocrites that are standing up talking about healing now leave Trump stuff in place or don't do an impeachment, which makes me no difference either way. But at the end of the day, no. You had a power now. You better use it according to your. We did not elect him to be Trump. We did not elect him to keep Trump's policies in place. And I know 74 million people voted for him, but unfortunately, that wasn't enough.
Yeah.
People going to shove 74 million people down my throat. Shut up. Shut up. You lost. Go home. You couldn't take the football.
Yeah.
You know, when you lose, you take your football, you go home. Now what y'all going to do? You couldn't take the football this time, okay?
You lost and we got the ball.
You lost and Biden got the football.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't usually be on sides on this stuff. I ain't no Democrat or Republican, but at the end of the day, this stuff has gotten so crazy. They're making me have to say, man, maybe for the first time in 40 years, I might have to declare a side.
Mm. Yeah. So, I mean, it'd be interesting to see, what they do, especially over the next, the immediate future, just given everything that's been going on with the pandemic, and everything like that. So I don't know.
I met with a banker, or our banker, and we were just talking. And see, once you leave Fox and CNN and you talk to people who don't have an agenda, man, this country is in trouble economically.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. Yeah.
Okay. And so you have Republicans saying, well, we got the vaccine now, we don't need to do it. Shut up. Okay? The vaccine is one impact that is we need it more than ever before. And the rollout has been horrendous because there wasn't a plan or whatever, okay? But at the end of the day, his biggest concern was filling the void of the thousands, if not millions, of businesses that are never going to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Never going to come back. Because had the stimulus been available in different points and times as assessment and evaluation was done, then make resources available. You want to open the economy, you want to get the economy going. There are times when the federal government needs to step in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with just spending and giving and throwing away money, but there are times when he just happens to be the only one big enough to step in. And the last year was that. They started out good with the first stimulus package, and then once the election came into view, and they just shut down. And so who do we blame? Well, we can spend the next year blaming people or blaming Democrats and Republicans, which they have to do to try to win the next election cycle. But as people, we shouldn't fall for that. And as Christians, we really shouldn't fall for that, because what we need now is interventions. It is not socialism to care and love for people and give people health care in a pandemic.
Yeah.
All right, that's not socialism.
Right.
That's Jesus Christ compassion. I heard some commentator today calling us activist churches. And I'm like, where did this dude get his theological degree from? So now we've weaponized, and I saw him try to do it to Warnock. we've weaponized what we believe as Christians in this country because we believe we should love our neighbor, which means don't shoot me if I don't have a gun and I'm just trying to be pulled over. We believe those things. We believe in loving our neighbor. We believe in forgiving. We believe those things. And it's been documented study after study how African Americans in this country forgive, serve, and give. So we don't have to argue about those things.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting how all of a sudden the new rhetoric against the black church, and we wouldn't exist had not it been for racist practices in the majority church. We only grew out of a desire to love the Lord and worship freely.
Yeah.
Dr. McMichael writes a great book on the history of the black denominations. Hey, Doc, just giving you a little plug.
Yeah. But we are kind of to switch gears a little bit. You said, the trouble that the country is in economically. And there's a lot that I've just been looking into, researching, listening to. And really, just kind of preparing myself, for what's to come. But I've been hearing a lot about I'm sure you have, cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, and I've gone to different things in relation to it. And I think my understanding has increased a lot, but also my understanding of the banking system and the dollar and that kind of a thing. It even goes back to, I study finance, when you take business finance, when you take intro to finance, one of the very first principles that you learn, which is something that if anything stuck with me from the class, it's this, and it's that $1 today is worth more than $1 tomorrow. So I've been hearing research about all of this Bitcoin and all this crypto and blockchain and stuff like that. And I heard something really powerful just a few days ago that helped me to really wrap my mind around it, because you keep hearing about all of these really wealthy people putting a farm on it, but it's to this point, $1 today is worth more than $1 tomorrow. And it's this basically idea of how this centralized banking system, which we use and operate under, is basically like robbing us, right? So, and basically what the conversation I was hearing, he's basically saying, like, wealthy people, when they get money, they not holding on to it. It immediately is an investment. And it's for this very reason that $1 today is worth more than $1 tomorrow. So the reason why Bitcoin is the thing of the future is for a couple of reasons. One, it's decentralized, meaning these people that's in control can't just do what they want to do, change the rules or whatever. But also because, unlike the dollar, it's not an issue where we can just print up more money and now your dollar is worth less. So it's a really interesting time, and it's a lot going on, and we need to just get educated on different things that's going on.
Right. Well, remember, whenever there's a chaos and crises, there's great opportunity.
Right.
Always, there's great opportunity, and some people have figured that out. And there's always going to be forerunners, pioneers, and then there'll be those who get in at the right time, and then those who come along. And that determines, how much you personally benefit or your group benefits from that particular thing. And so, but to come back to the banker, even though there's all these challenges, there's still a significant amount of growth, even in the midst of this.
Yeah, but it has nothing to do with the pandemic.
Absolutely.
No, what I'm talking about is irrelevant to the pandemic and the nature of the system.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, you're going to the root cause.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But I guess I don't want to go too deep into the weeds. But yeah. No, I'm just saying, like, the nature of the banking system is basically it's not, a lot of the things that we think are unfair about it aren't, it isn't a flaw in the system. It is a function of the system.
Well, it was designed that way.
No, 100%. It's designed for the rich to get richer. Literally. So
Well, okay, and now, if you have access to set up the system,
yeah,
access to the policies, who's going to be the biggest beneficiary?
you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. So we've been conditioned to participate with institutions that literally serve us in some capacity, but not to the extent that they serve the person whose interest is being served.
Right.
You know, and that's just Americans, and that's why I always hear people say the American people, and I'm like, nah, they don't know. Not that we're illiterate, not anything like that, but these systems were set up to keep us doing what we're doing so that wealth is generated in the places where wealth is generated.
Right.
You know, and you participate at your level of understanding or your level of risk.
Right.
You know, your level of creativity.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, some folk getting it, they step into the system and they have a product or they have a service or they have something and they make that thing work. Why? Because at that moment, that was the thing. Facebook, Twitter, you know, going all the way back to Microsoft, or those are the more modern things we look at, but we go back to automobile or printing press or whatever those things are, and they step into the system, someone brings it to the marketplace, and then boom, you know. And that's what I love about this generation of young people such as yourself and children, is it seems like school is important, education is important, but equally entrepreneurship is important.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that's how we get to a more perfect union, by being entrepreneurs and being educated and well-trained and well-disciplined, as you are suggesting, in the current market plus what lies ahead.
Yeah.
You know, for some of us, risk becomes different at certain ages.
Right. But it just depends. It depends how you define risk. But risk is based on perspective, in a sense.
Right.
But
Right.
but I get what you're saying.
Well, I think that, you know, we're in for something fresh, in the sense that those of us who are more centrist in our view of things, or less left or right, see a big opportunity here in the midst of this pandemic, being number one. Because the former president, the outgoing president, used to be president, did get the vaccine off the ground.
Yeah.
He'll be criticized for how he handled the pandemic and how he handled no rollout plan. But the moment the election came into view, all of that was down. And once elections start, you'll see it right here locally in Cleveland. Governing stops.
Oh man.
And you know, that's why you have about a year or two of the Biden administration. And some people are never going to not be aiming at the next election cycle, because that's where they live.
Right.
But so he's got to, everything he's doing, he's got to get done in the next 100 days, next 365 days for sure. You know.
Yeah, man.
That's if he can get anything done. Because all this kumbaya healing and all that stuff, it doesn't exist. And I'm not a pessimist, but I know the nature of the politics of this country. And it's not new, but we hit some faults over the last 20 years that are significant in the divide. It has never been, the issues are exactly the same as they were today, as they were in 1860, 1871, 1875, on and on and on. They are no different.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Inclusion, all right? The right to vote, and economics, all right? We looked at decency,
Mm-hmm.
all right? And the civil rights movement brought about some strong policies that have been fought against ever since they were written. I listened to another guy commentary yesterday on Conservative Talk Radio, and all he could quote was the First and Second Amendment, First and Second Amendment, First and Second Amendment, and how the left is violating the First and Second Amendment. I'm like, okay, Okay. But how many amendments are there?
Right.
That's all I ever hear him talk about is the First and Second Amendment. I don't even show up to the 12th and 13th Amendment. So I'm like, I like those two. and 14. Yeah, and I like 15.
Yeah.
You know, and so this country has a long way to go. And I laughed because another commentator said, well, you know, they're scrapping the 1776 project so they can defile our country. I'm like, Columbus didn't come here in 1776.
Yeah.
You know, what about 1619? They don't want to hear about 1619. And I'm like, 1619 is pretty cool. You know?
Yeah.
So it's interesting. A lot going on. New president, new power in the Senate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was something. We talked about that a little bit, but that's something.
Yeah. So that's really the thing for me. I mean, it's everything is lined up. And it's, you know, everything is lined up. So what you gonna do?
You know, it's lined up in one sense. Okay. All right. The challenge is that you know, it takes 60 senators, unless you get rid of the filibuster, for most things. And then, you know, a majority, which vice president becomes the president in a tie. So that level of cooperation, you know, they're already attacking the $1.9 trillion package. And I hope they didn't just put that number out there to fight to get down to a number. I mean, if that's what's needed, then that's what's needed.
Right.
You know, again, they're just periods in time when the federal government has to step in. We see it after World War II. I mean, we see it historically that there was the need. And then after that, we step in to create an environment of opportunity for the entire country, not just red or blue states. Then we begin to scale back so we can do what? Keep the states empowered to do what they do. But we've had such division in the sense that some states took advantage of the healthcare options. Some states didn't. Some states ramped up this much or that much because it was political divide, just like masks. All right. We know that the vaccine will help impact the pandemic. We'll not get rid of it. It does not cure COVID-19.
Right.
We know that wearing a mask makes a difference. Okay. But because we politicized and weaponized masks, then what? We lost so many more thousand people maybe because of that. You know, I mean, every time somebody tells me, but I have this, my freedom is being infringed upon, I'm like, my life is at risk. Can we just deal with life while you be free? These people, I mean, a mask is infringing on their freedom. Well, why don't you be black 2 days?
Yeah.
Doggone mask infringing on your freedom. You know, they ask the churches to stay home. They're infringing on my religious rights. Well, go somewhere where they will infringe on your religious rights. Man, I never heard so many whiners in all my life. Just whine.
Yeah. Certain perspectives I can just never identify with. So I just.
Yeah. Well, we got a new president.
Yeah. The headline.
Yeah, he has the Congress. I mean, he's got the whole shebang for a second.
Right.
Now, can they fight and keep it? I want to see what kind of strategies they have.
Yeah, me too. Because that's all. That's.
They don't win the strategic battles.
Yeah.
I think they were shocked in Georgia.
For sure.
It probably had less to do with them and more to do with Georgia.
Yeah. So we gonna see. Because I mean, I was hopeful and prayerful about Georgia, but I wasn't confident per se.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not down there, so I can't really speak to it.
I don't know. Everybody I talked to that we know down there during that time, they was excited.
Oh no, 100%.
I mean,
it's a new day for sure.
Yeah, they were excited. I mean, they were pumped.
Yeah, but
They took
those
it.
those
They
are
took
people
it
we know.
They took it personal because this dude was trying to say that they cheated and robbed and stole. They took it personal.
Yeah. No, I'm glad they did because it was well needed.
Even the Republicans down there took it personal.
Yeah.
Because they was in charge of the election.
Right.
That's one thing about that dude. He don't care who he throw under the bus.
No, that's what you got to be careful with. Who you alienate.
I'm telling you. That's why they all up there scurred now. He down there playing golf and they still up there. We been out here buying.
He made a couple moves on his way out though. Got some people off the hook.
Oh man, Lil Wayne is like, hey man, Trump cool with me. You got my vote. Come on back, brother president.
Yeah, sure. If I was in jail,
I mean, dude, I was like, woo, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
because he's a Democrat.
he got the dude off that founded Death Row Records. I forgot that one dude.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh shoot.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He went out with a bang in that sense, but he went out rather quietly.
Well, I mean, they're criticizing him for not going to the inauguration, and I know the precedents and all those things, but I given the toxicity around everything that happened, to me, that was more gracious than showing up. It would have been arrogant to me for him to show up and stand around and.
That would have been funny though.
Oh no. Poor Bernie. All the memes on poor Bernie.
Oh, you seen them?
Your mama gonna show me everything. I'm not the social media titan she is, but can you imagine? The memes that would be going around today. He knew what he was. That was a smart move. That was a smart move.
I know it's gonna sound crazy to say, but it's like this dude was just. He was so like crazy that it was just funny, like some of the stuff he would say. And I know it's like it has a real impact and people's lives are affected. But on the surface, this dude he definitely had me rolling.
Oh yeah. It's just incredible. I would say the push against democracy showed some of the weaknesses. But in the end, it prevailed. And it prevailed because of the decency and institution being put above politics by certain people in certain places throughout the country. And that's why we have to be real careful, and I know I have to be careful myself when I look at the conservative Christians, because there were people who stood up and were decent and did the right thing at the right time, which made it less fragile. It should have never been in question. You heard the narrative months before November that if I lose, it was stolen. Well, that was a setup right then. Anybody with any sense knows that. Why are you saying that? Well, you're saying it because you're creating a straw man. You're creating a way for yourself to manipulate things. They saw polling. He knew the things that he did, which he knew the crowd that satisfied. He knew the things that they didn't do, and he knew the crowd that satisfied.
Right.
There's very little that's done in this country politically and economically that they don't do from a basis of knowledge. Okay, there's no shot in the dark. Okay,
yeah.
There's good information. Of course, now we know there's bad information also, but you can have access to information, and I don't know anyone who really understood this thing to think that man was not very, very smart.
Oh, what? They just don't understand the game that was being played.
Absolutely. And he plays it better than anybody I've ever seen in his space.
Yeah.
Okay, because to ascend to the presidency at any point in history is a feat unto itself by anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, That's not a door you just walk into because you can walk or you have money or you have knowledge or you have a following. That you got to get in that door, and like President Obama came along at the right time. He came along for the Republicans at the right time.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why I've kind of not paid attention to it over the past couple of weeks, but this second impeachment is so critical because they don't want him to be able to run again.
Right. Well,
because I mean, like, I guess during my life, I'm trying to think. So when I was born, I really wasn't aware, but I guess that was what Bush won, then Clinton, then Bush, then President Obama, then Trump. So I'm like, okay, but like, so like obviously, and I don't, not just because he's black, but it was like President Obama just embodied to me what it means to be a president and a representative of the nation, like nothing I had ever seen. But Trump, he had a level of power and influence that I've never seen, and it was crazy.
He represented a portion of America that's always been here. Okay?
Yeah.
And that's not just racism and hatred. That's not what I'm talking about. America as a nation is a bully.
Yeah.
Okay? And for a lot of people, that's their preference.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's their style of leadership.
It's a very stark contrast.
Very stark.
So, like, to what it is now is like, oh.
Well, see what happened, and again, I'm only speculating because I was not on the inside as to some degree as I have been in the past. But the unfortunate challenge for he and his followers was that at the moment of leadership that could have catapulted him to a different place in history, all that he had done in his life had not availed him to the strategic thinking that could have put him in a place where no president has ever been, and that would have been God or science or the Chinese, whoever handed him the election. Okay, they handed him the election because he had one thing to do: tackle the pandemic, and there would have been no way. Now, could it happen? I don't know. That's not my thing. You dealt the hand you're dealt as the leader.
Right.
All right. The buck stops with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Had he handled that thing or the narrative or something differently, I think there would have been no way he could have lost. And I think that the arc of the universe bends toward justice. And because of the lives that were lost, and because, unfortunately, his team or he himself could not handle that level of strategic thinking, he lost because he was a rookie. It didn't show up in any other finance. It didn't show up. Foreign policy, even though I don't like a lot of the decisions because I think most Americans don't understand those strategic alliances across the world and what they do for our ability to broker power in the world, all right? But at the end of the day, those things were okay because there were people who were cheering him on.
Mm-hmm.
But when it came to the pandemic was the time that now you've got to be the leader, not of the red and the blue. You got to be the leader of the world. This is not an Iowa issue or an Ohio issue or a California issue. This is a worldwide pandemic, and you are the most powerful person in perception in the world. Therefore, give leadership.
Yeah, 100%.
Nobel Prize was his. Second term was his. Now you have a person in the White House who is not a rookie.
Yeah. So
you have mature leadership. And that's what the country needs now. And whether his power lasts 2 more years or 4 years or 8 years, I don't know. But right now we need somebody who can come in and give leadership not to the red and the blue as he understands and he knows. And McConnell knows. I don't care what Lindsey Graham says, okay? McConnell knows that this country needs leadership. He's secure. He's won. He just won. He's got 6 more years. How many more years? How many more terms is he going to go? I don't know. But he understands. Okay? All right. Yeah. And I believe that there are a few Republican senators who understand. Now, will he get $1.9 trillion? That's politics. Okay? But a national plan to get this vaccine rolled out, he'll get that. Okay? Will he get cooperation from 50 governors? I don't know. But he's going to get a cooperation from a lot of governors because their folk are dying. We're spiking here in Ohio. This new strand, it's not more deadly, but it multiplies faster. Okay? So, I mean, very few people would want to be president on the first day in 2021 other than him and Donald Trump and maybe Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley.
Yeah.
Because they were interviewing for president on Wednesday night after the insurrection. I'm interviewing Trump people. Look at me. Do you think I'd be a good candidate? I'm a Harvard grad. I'm a Stanford grad.
Yeah.
Even though I'm ignorant.
Yeah. Switching gears. So, I had heard about this documentary that was coming out. And before I even knew it was coming out, I heard that it wasn't authorized by the person who was about. So I'm like, oh, all right, I ain't even about to get this. I ain't even about to get this no. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then everybody kept talking to me about it. Probably because it's me. Everybody kept talking about it. Did you see it? They just assumed that I saw it. And I'm like, no, man, I'm boycotting it because they said. And it's the person I'm talking about is Tiger Woods. So his manager had came out and he was like, no, this isn't authorized. It's just somebody trying to get off a narrative. But then everybody was saying like, oh, no, I watched it and it was really good. So I finally watched it. Or it's 2 parts. I watched part 1. I think it's 2 parts. I watched part 1.
2 parts.
Did you see it?
No.
Yeah, because it was. So everybody who watched it, I'm sorry, I love you, but no, you're wrong. It wasn't great. I feel like it was just exactly what the agent said. People trying to get off the narrative that they had in mind. And it was good from the sense of like, wow, you start back when Tiger was a baby and you hearing his dad and his mom talk about all this stuff. And that's really good. But it's like, I need Tiger involved in it.
Yeah.
You know, like the same way that Jordan was involved with the Last Dance.
He's alive.
I need, you know what I'm saying? So like, even if like you use these other people who may not, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it doesn't have to be produced by him.
Right. Like
you produce from the outside, but without the cooperation from him, it doesn't have the validity that I would want. But I mean, it's very like,
right.
I don't know. They got the narrative off that they were trying to get off. And not that they painted him in a bad light,
right,
or that they painted his – I didn't necessarily like how they was trying to paint Earl Woods, or just little things. And certain things were brought up about personal life and personal relationship that's like, how much are you getting paid to do this? Because if beyond that, what's the impetus to expose something? If something has never been exposed in somebody's life and now they're dead and you were their friend –
right.
Then what is your impetus to bring this up?
Getting paid.
So I'm like, and then
it's an age. Remember this. You're young still. I'll punch Maiden in Harris and Megan in the nose. But if as you become famous and more well known, it's your friends. It's not your enemies.
But I mean, I don't know. It was just kind of weird. Like they had. Like, and I'm not trying to down talk these people. They had like Tiger Woods' high school girlfriend on there. They're like, she still has every video, every picture, the breakup letter. Like, first of all, she got a ring on her finger. She talking about she just replaced. I'm like, what is going on here? This is not. I don't know what's going on with this. But one thing that was taken away. I mean, that I took away from it though was just like his dad. His dad definitely instilled something in him.
Oh, no. See, okay. And that military.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, give us your boys and we'll make them into men. Okay. All right. It's your grandfather. Okay. But fortunately, and that's why you're a great golfer today, fortunately through a friendship good friend of mine was a good friend of Mr. Woods, Earl Woods, and that's how I got into golf because one of the local banks sponsored the minority golf tournament here. Was one of the sponsors, and I met them through Ricky.
Mm-hmm.
And we sponsored the meals and transportation for the college kids. We picked them up, carted them to the different golf courses and where they were staying, and took them out to Camp Forbes, and they had meals. We provided the food. And that first year I did that. And then we actually went to Disney World that year, and I didn't play golf. We stayed at a golf resort. I didn't play until the next year.
Mm.
So the next year they said, well, why don't you come go with us? And Ricky and them gave me some clubs from Ozzy. And I didn't know what I was doing. It was embarrassing, and so I went and took lessons. But we got to play around with Tiger, and it was, he was still a senior in high school. It was a year before he went to college. He came here 2 or 3 years in a row with the tournament. Then they eventually moved the tournament because of the weather away from here. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to see him and interact with his dad. You remember the guys, we were out at Grantwood, and they took a picture with you?
No, I think we was at Tanglewood.
Tanglewood, yeah. They took a picture with CJ and said, "Hey, we're gonna tell our wives and our family we got a picture with Tiger Woods."
Yeah, but I don't know. It was interesting. I didn't see part 2. I'm gonna watch it just cause. But
well, I don't watch certain things. Sometimes I may break down and watch this, but. Same thing with the Michael Jackson thing they came out with. I ain't watch it,
but that was different because they was there to attack his legacy. They didn't. This wasn't an attack on his legacy. It was just like,
yeah, but still was unauthorized. And plus, for me, he's alive. And if I'm alive, at least let me say hello in the beginning or say something.
No, that's
it's just me. It's a quirk in me, and because if I don't see something, I don't know something, I just say, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I got this look when I say, I don't know.
But I mean, one another thing that it did bring to my attention was just the fact, and I think you mentioned it. We was talking about it because we always having this GOAT talk, but I don't know. Now I don't know. I'm like, well, who had more pressure? I don't know if it was LeBron or if it was Tiger, but for me, it was definitely those two. The amount of pressure that's been on them because it was even earlier. It was at an early age, and to just overcome that and to exceed the expectations is just like, wow.
Well, I heard Jim Nance. We were let me see, where were we? Oh, Coach Retigliano, Sam Retigliano. Yeah, Coach has a tournament every year. Remember last year we won some at that tournament? I forget what it was. But he has a tournament every year, and we were there, and Jim Nance was the guest that year. A few years ago. But so people always, you get to sit with Jim Nance. That's just, for those of us who are sports people. And so they were asking him about Tiger. And he says, here's the only way I can explain it. And it was like, wow. He said, and again, he's seen, Arnold and, everybody. But he said, there was a period in time where there was the Tiger factor. And let me explain to you what the Tiger factor is. He said that during that period, he was the only person in history that every time he walked on the golf course, he was expected to win. Now, here's what made it the Tiger factor. Because the people we were playing against expected him to win.
Yeah.
And he talked about the battle with him and Phil and other things, And we saw Sergio get just left behind in that thing, And he finally, bless him, got married and won a Masters. But
yeah, that was in there. I didn't know about the, the whole thing with him and Phil.
Yeah.
Basically, Phil being ahead of him, having all the records, they being from, similar places. And he was kind of like, not in his shadow, but kind of, because he was younger.
Right.
So it was like,
and it changed
but then
overnight.
In that, no, that this is, the caddy was talking about it. And he was like, Steve Williams, he was like, Was they no, they was at Pebble Beach, so it had to be the U.S. Open. They was playing. I think that was at Pebble Beach, if I'm not mistaken. I know I'm nerding out for you non-golf folks, people, but bear with me because it's some more stuff. So Phil basically hits his driver. He hits the perfect shot because he a lefty. The hole was actually a little slight dog leg left. He hits it, everything he got perfect, striped it down the middle. Tiger's like, okay. Tiger pulls out 3-wood, crushes it right by him. And then Phil came up to him, was like, "Do you always hit your 3-wood that long?" He's like, "No, normally longer." And it was like this whole mental battle. And he didn't just want to beat him; he wanted to crush him, and he did. So I don't know. Yeah, it was good just to see some of those moments and to see to re-see the footage. Because I was alive during most of this. Not his whole life, but. I started playing golf probably right before he won the Masters.
No, you started playing golf in 1995.
Yeah, he won in 96 or 97.
Okay, yeah. I started in 90. I didn't really play a lot, but the summer of 94 I started. He came here like 93, 92, 94, maybe 95, 93, 95, something like that. And that summer of 94 I started because I went to South Africa. The first thing I wanted to do was play golf in South Africa. I had no...
Hold on, you played golf in South Africa?
I had no clue. But I started playing. It was like as soon as I started playing, bam, I got to go to South Africa for a couple of weeks.
Oh, okay.
And so, and I came back and we went to Atlanta. And it was really funny. I still don't know how to play right. So I'm playing just... If it costs whatever number amount, that's the place I want to go.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm playing in Atlanta. I'm playing with this Monsignor. He's some big guy. And it's really funny, the people there serving him. And I have a ball getter, and I'm holding the ball getter, and I fall in the lake.
Oh, man.
Then we go out to California. You with us, done that? We go out to California, right? I don't think it was Pebble Beach. But it was a place out there, and I don't know how I got in, but it was, I won't even say how much it cost, okay? No clue. I was so mad at Ricky and then when I came home. I told him, I said, man, this is not golf. This is not what I see y'all doing. They said, we know. You just took the clubs and left.
Yeah.
And they got me some lessons, and it was amazing because, I could hit the ball from here to the end of the table. And these dudes was hitting the ball, it was unbelievable. And then once I learned, I said, oh, okay, I'm in the game now.
Yeah.
Oh, man, but it was a lot of fun because, you were a little kid, and we were out there, and we went to the tournaments and things, and, it was a lot of fun. And Derek and Donovan, I think Dalen's still mad at me because he didn't get to do it, but he was fishing with his grandparents.
Yeah.
And, he always tell me, Granddad, you didn't teach me to play golf. I said, I ain't teach them neither.
Yeah. No, it was, yeah. Hopefully I get to play some more this year. That's what I actually bought myself for Christmas. So I got some new golf shoes.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna hook you up. I got some, I always miss out because they go just like the sneakers because people buy them up and then they put a regular bottom on them.
Okay.
So I got the Jordan golf shoes. I tried to get them before they went out. So it was kind of like me making an investment on being able to ensure that I could play at least a little bit this year.
That's you. That's Rod and Archie. See, I don't buy stuff, okay? Let me just tell you. Hey, Rod and Archie, okay? I don't buy stuff. Rod and Archie buy stuff all the time, okay? I only spend money on golf if I'm playing better. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't, playing like I'm playing now, I don't deserve nothing.
No,
Where's the oldest shoes that anybody has? The oldest club.
I was just talking about going to the indoor fairways. I think I was talking to you about it. Then I seen a friend of ours there. Oh, yeah. He posted. I'm like, oh man, how was it? He was telling me, oh man, it's amazing, it's great. It's this new place. I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to go check it out. Where? I don't know. I got it saved. So we have to get on it. But we getting there. So there's a few more things happening in sports. I guess before we get out of here. I guess since we've recorded, we've taken a couple L's.
A moment of silence for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Yeah. Love my boys. Nick Saban knew that crap was going to go down like that. That's why he was so quiet.
You know, I hate to say it. I hate to say it. They was the better team. But here's the thing. You can beat a team that's better than you, but not when you make certain mistakes. It's like you have to limit your mistakes. You have to capitalize on every mistake that they make. Yeah. That's the only way you could beat a team that's better than you. It can be done. And, you know, really, it was a, you know, not that I'm not a superstitious guy or nothing like that, but right from the jump is where it went left for me. And, you know, not to pick on the kid, but I just think a certain way. So at the coin toss, you know, he's like trophy side or stadium side. Heads and tails is out the window at that point because trophy side has to be the call. You have to call trophy side because we come here to get the trophy. Like, come on, man.
He froze. Yeah,
man. He was thinking about heads and tails. No, it ain't heads and tails no more. It's trophy. It's trophy.
Yeah, it was, and then Trey went down.
But
man,
first
I
play.
have no commentary because I'm in mourning. No commentary.
Then it's like, all right, man, you know, we lost Lindor. Buckeyes losing that championship. But that's all right because for the first time in my history, I can say, at least we have the Browns.
We had the Browns, though, baby. We had the Browns. I mean, okay, it was, you know, we playing Kansas City, defending Super Bowl champs, and we're one score away.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, give Baker his props, Stefanski his props, Andrew Berry his props, the Haslam their props. They brought us an organization and a team, and my prayers, adding a few pieces here and there, will only get better.
Man, yeah, you know, Odell get healed up. Hopefully we can keep him.
Well, I mean, one thing Kevin Stefanski has demonstrated is that he is the coach for Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I mean, because, you know, he played a lot better. I mean, he is what he is. So, you know, we have to maximize that.
Oh, no. I mean, I don't see him doing any different this year than we saw Harbaugh do with Lamar Jackson. He built an offense around him. He gets a lot of criticism, unfortunately, for things that are not his fault. It's always interesting to me as I listen to sports commentators, and when it's Drew Brees and Tom Brady, the receiver ran the wrong route. But if it's Lamar Jackson, he threw the wrong pass.
I don't know. Drew Brees. Did you see that game? Yeah. It's over. I don't know if he retired, but
I think he retired.
Brady outlasted him because it wasn't pretty at all.
He outlasted him. He was throwing whirly birds last year, and this year he's throwing it. I'm like, he got a core of receivers, and he's like, I got a core of receivers again.
I had them dudes written off a long time ago. Now he about to go back. I'm like, oh man, get out of here. He just added to the legend.
Kansas City better pray with all get out. No, they play Green Bay. Yeah.
No, they got the Bills this week. Kansas City do.
Kansas City got the Bills. I'm talking about Brady and them play Green Bay.
Yeah, but Aaron Rodgers playing great football. So that's gonna be it'll be a good weekend for football. I got to see what I could do to get the games. But back to the Browns game. That play, you can't say that play lost us the game. The helmet to helmet play. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, you can say that it lost us the game, you know, but one thing that will happen is the competition committee will look at it. And, you know, I guess I never really considered it. You know, the rule is just the rule. Like when you fumble into the end zone, it's just the other team's ball. But literally that makes no sense.
Not at all. And you're on the 1 yard line, 2 yard line, and you fumble the ball through the end zone and the other team benefits. Yeah, we know that rule was put in by somebody who usually fumbles instead of scores.
So that's definitely something that I think will be looked at because that's just nonsensical.
On a lighter note.
What's that?
Hey, Joe. Shout out to a friend of mine, Joe Turner, played football with him 50 years ago.
50 years ago?
It's 50 years this year, brother.
Oh, man.
What you saying?
I ain't saying nothing.
What you saying?
I thought you was usually when somebody say 50 years, it'd be an exaggeration, but like I'm like, dang, 50 years. Okay. No, that's what's up. Like,
Wait
that's
a minute.
that's a
Now,
blessing.
y'all, see, now he acting like his mama, okay? Okay. All right, he acting like his mama now, okay? 50 years ago, okay? All right, but just had a homegoing celebration of one of our former teammates, Walter Love, who was probably one of the greatest football players I've ever seen in my life. Yesterday, and a friend of mine, Joe, gave me a film from the 1971 football season.
Oh, wow. That was your senior year?
That was my senior year.
Okay.
And guess who's on the film?
Who on the film?
Me.
Hold on, you watched it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And guess what?
What's that?
I had some yards and a few catches.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta check.
I didn't look as good as you, but I'm
Hold on,
like,
what is it on? It's on what's it on?
DVD.
Oh, it's on the DVD?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
We could rip that off and we could
so it was there.
cut it up. We can make a highlight tape. We can make a highlight reel from it.
I don't think you can do that because it's going pretty quickly. I don't know if you can touch it at all. But anyway, just thought I'd let y'all know. 50 years ago, I was on the field.
Yeah. So, the Browns got something to build on, and that's we always say, well, there's always next year, but like, this is the first time that it's like a real like
next year.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Because, man, it was like everything was falling our way. It's like, so close.
Well,
because we get past them.
Oh, no.
We beat Buffalo in the regular season, didn't we?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We shoot. So I don't know. But
well, again, and again, it shows the little things that happen for us, and then the little things that happen against us.
Yeah.
The fumble, the drop pass that they called good, and we didn't get down to challenge it. Then challenge the next.
Man, that challenge was
and
terrible.
Then challenge the next one. I'm like, don't challenge.
He missed
that.
the challenge he was supposed to challenge, and then threw away the timeout.
So now, but again,
now, real quick though, Andy Reid. I mean, this dude is just. I remember we was talking about great coaches. We was talking about obviously Bill Belichick. Then I was talking about Mike Tomlin. I'm like, Andy Reid, man, this dude's a great coach.
And you know what's interesting is Eric Bieniemy, their offensive coordinator, and he's supposed to be all this and all that, and once again,
snubbed him.
Well, so far,
yeah,
and that's still a few. I was just checking the day before we started.
Somebody got signed. Somebody just got a job.
Yeah, a couple people got a job, but I was like, Hugh Jackson got an interview. Mike Singletary got an interview, but I don't even know if that's genuine because of the Rooney Rule.
Mm-hmm.
Because when it comes down to hiring, we don't see it happen.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
But that's all right. These guys are making strides. I mean, now you got women making strides. And it goes back to Amanda Gorman's statement. People don't want to share.
Yeah.
And people don't want to share.
That's a perfect segue.
It's going to happen.
People don't want to share.
Yeah, people don't want to share.
And that's the perfect segue into Brooklyn. Since we last spoke, a new super team has emerged. With Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden. And they have been talking about this for a while, and I'm like, man, ain't no way this is going to happen. And I'm hating. I'll admit it, I'm hating. Because I don't want it to happen. But then I'm like, what they going to do? It's only one basketball, and these dudes need the ball. They not passing the ball. And then the first night they played together, I think they both went for over 30.
Kyrie wasn't there, though.
No, Kyrie wasn't there, but Kevin Durant and Harden went for over 30. And I'm like, oh. Then they came back, do it again. But then, just when it starts to look like this team is untouchable, Kyrie returns, and they take their first L to none other than the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Because we knew how to shut two of them down.
I was like, wow. And that kid Sexton went off last night. I mean, this dude was out of his mind. It was crazy.
And again, Cleveland has a great core. LeBron on our team, any superstar, and we right there with everybody. You know.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe LeBron and somebody. But anyway, yeah, and again, basketball is and that's one of the great things about just enjoying sports. Because we can move from basketball to football to baseball to, track and field. And, I watch bowling still.
Yeah.
So it's good. I'm excited.
Yeah. It was good to see them get that win. Man, if it wasn't COVID, I would have been at that game. That's one of my birthday traditions. I always go to the game. Right. That would have been the perfect game to see these three play at once, and to see the Cavs beat them. That would have been a great birthday present.
Who played last year when we went?
Last time I went, they played. Last year, who did they play? I don't think I went on my birthday. They played the Thunder.
It was that week though.
I can't remember.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just think about all the things we missed because of COVID.
I know, man. Couldn't go out of town. I wanted to play some golf.
Because I'm at the point now where, I want to make all the bowl games and, March Madness and, all those kind of things. That's my retirement genre of activities, sports events.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Just go hang out at the sports events.
Yeah. So, oh man, that's what I wonder how that's going to turn out. Because we were supposed to have All-Star next year. And now that thing has been pushed out for years. I think it's no All-Star game for like several years. So I don't know how that affects us now. Because I know we was going to be in there one way or another. So I don't know. But we'll see. But I don't know. It's a good place to end.
Well, I mean, it's a new year, new president, new fresh opportunities. I'm excited about some of the things the Lord has showed us. And I just want to see how some things play itself out in our state, in our city. We're going to be electing a new mayor this year. And
yeah, we need a local politic episode. I don't know if you're allowed to do that, but
yeah, we're allowed to do it. Who's the sponsor?
Yeah, that's right. Kingdom. www.kingdm.tv.
So unless you say something to make you mad, you can't pull out sponsorship. Now, if you say something to make you mad, shut up.
No, I'm saying that'll be a good, Well,
we have our congressperson, Marsha Fudge, is going to be moving over the hood.
Yeah.
So we got folk running for her
we
seat.
We need to get some of these people on the phone.
Yeah, we can interview them. I'm sure they all want to be interviewed.
Yeah, we need to get them on the phone. Now I get them. But we gotta. Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, we're gonna figure out how to open this thing up to some questions and answers and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's what we need to do too. Anyway.
Yeah, do they do that on podcasts?
They do whatever everybody got their thing. So whatever they do. So whatever we say, this is what we do. That's what they do.
Oh, okay. Hey y'all, we can do what we want to do.
Some people got podcasts where the context is smoking. Some people got podcasts where the context is drinking. Some people got podcasts. It's a podcast to do whatever you want to do.
So we can have a weed and wine podcast?
Well, it's been done, but
we call Snoop want to come on the podcast, brother. We got your favorite.
He did put out a gospel album within the past couple of years.
Oh, Snoop's a believer. That ain't no big thing. Nah. A bunch of those guys are believers, They roll how they roll, Church gonna criticize everybody, so it don't matter. Oh, they probably be criticizing me because of my weed and wine people. Who knows what the heck? I'm gonna be in heaven with you. What you gonna do?
All right. Until next time. Have a blessed week. Yeah.
All right. Have a blessed week. Peace out. Is that a statement anymore?
It is now.
Oh, okay. Thank you.